Okay, we're going to go over the definition query. So SQL, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So for definition query that they use SQL query based on the SQL. So one of the major innovation GIS technology nearly 50 years ago was linking tabular data to the graphic feature in feature classes. So this linkage makes it easier to symbolize maps using the attribute values found in a table, and also allows attribute queries to show only feature interest. And I don't understand why the author don't put the Roger Tomlinson in how he wants to manage the Canada land area and how he wants to manage the land. And once we want to know something, so he scanned the land parcel and put into computer system. That's how GIS was born. So attribute query are based on structured query language. So the de facto standard query language database packages in many application software packages, including ArcGIS Pro. So actually the ArcMap and the previous they do use the structured query language for the query builder here. For further study and learn full SQL commands, we can find the free interactive SQL tutorials on the internet. So right now, the one I'm using so I'm gonna show you is the Vankit that he has 149 videos, and the tutorial and everything is very useful to learn about. And they do have another one is 3W schools. So the next two we will use crime and a query common by the police crime analysis. So the example query asks some of the standard query questions: who, what, where, when, and how. God, okay, this is not working, and let's open it again. And a simple SQL criteria has the following: attribute name, logical operator, and then attribute value. So attribute name is any attribute column, heading, or field name in an attribute table. Several logical operators are available, including the familiar like equal, greater, greater than equal, and less than and equal. Attribute value is related to the value that we seek. So for example, that the following simple criteria selection selects all crime that are robberies, where robbery is the value of the crime attribute, crime equals robbery, and text values such as robbery must be enclosed in single or double quote marks. So we can use queries to select points in a feature class or set the definition query properties to a feature class. A point that is selected appears highlighted in the selection color, both in the attribute table and on the map, and all points of the map layer remain visible. A definition query, on the other hand, displays only the points that satisfy the query criteria and without the need for highlighting it. So compound criteria are made up of two or more simple criteria connecting with either an or connector, and means that both criteria, simple criteria, must be true for corresponding features records to be selected. For example, if we have SQL to select features and the compound query, for example, date occurred greater and equals to date 2016 August 1st, and date occurred less than date 2016 August 28th. So the date occur values must be greater than or equal to August 1st, 2016, and less than or equal to August 28th. Let me restart this. It's just frustrating. And then we have SQL will select a feature with the date August 5th, 2016, for example, but it will include August 31st, 2016, and the date value in the preceding criteria are in the format of SQL Pro requires for use in queries. We don't have to remember such formats because the ArcGIS Pro Query Builder helps to get the value and in the right format. So we need inquiries as long as we relearn right now. So the common one we do not have to use a lot, as long as to learn everything about the SQL, and some simple one, it should be good here. Right now I went through everything. Not a lot of feature that we could use in ArcGIS Pro, but we can learn more to understand a little bit more. Okay, then the OR collector is used to select a subset of features on the basis of classification such as crime types in the crime attribute. So although a single crime incident may have one or more criminal offenses, for example, homicide and robbery in which a person was robbed and murdered, data reported by police departments to the FBI's have only the most serious offense reported homicide. So in each crime has only one reported crime yet required type to query this kind of data for homicide and aggravated assaults. That we might simply say I want all homicides and aggravated results, but in SQL the expression is homicide or aggravated results. Given FBI reporting practices, it is impossible for an offense to be both a homicide and an aggravated assault because only one crime type is recorded for each offense. So the proper SQL criteria in this case, so it will be crime equals to homicide or crime equals to aggravated assault. Despite occasional exceptions to this rule, we will almost always need to place or in parentheses as shown if the criteria are combined with other criteria, such as date range. So the date occur greater and equal to date 2015, August 1st, and date occur less than date 2015, August 28th, and crime equals homicide or crime equals aggravated assault. The use of parentheses just with algebraic expressions is because logical expressions are executed one pair at a time for simple expressions, especially working from left to right but with certain logical operators going first. For example, SQL executes AND comparisons before OR comparisons regardless of order, which can result in incorrect information unless you use parentheses to control the order of execution. So SQL executes a comparison in parentheses first. For example, if we leave the parentheses out of the previous query, we would retrieve all homicides in August 25th, 15, but also all aggravated assaults in the database regardless of the month. Checking input data and the output results will give you experience and guidelines in making compound queries. So police need three primary kinds of attribute queries to analyze crimes, and we want to combine and use these queries creatively in the following ways. So the first one is most fundamental attribute query by crime type and a data interval. The what and when, which query often combines several crime types with the use of logical operators. The second type of attribute query adds criteria such as time of day or day of the week. For example, weekday versus weekend crime. A refinement when clearly crime patterns can differ as a result of the time of the day or the day of the week. The third type of attribute query adds criteria based on the attributes of the people, the who, or the object, the what, such as vehicle involved in a crime, and can include models, operandi, attributes, the how, such as enter through an open window if available. So now we're going to that's really weird, and that's the one I mentioned for the SQL study. And now we're going to tutorial 4. And now we're going to use the Pittsburgh bookmark. The map of Pittsburgh has crime offenses, which has all criminal offenses from for June through August 2015. So let's see. Oopsies. Let's save it. It's already saved. Computer is not working. Hopefully. What's going on? Okay, now I'm gonna close it out.